Hello, everybody, and I would like to thank my wonderful subscribers. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ace Attorney. It is early in the morning, my eyes kinda hurt, but I am always here. Hit the A button, get that into it right now. Now, last time we left off, we are going into a trial. So let's do it. February 24, 9:41 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. So, what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are, which is a great thing. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. And why do you look surprised about that, Emma? You already knew that. And a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Yana! Good morning, Mr. Wright. Say good morning to your sister. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. What did that mean? Like you weren't available? I hope they didn't hold you too long in name. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So, how'd it go? Is that Mr. Wright suspect? The police are clueless. You're idiots. Like Dick Dumshoe. We should get better police officers and detectives. I figured as much, so I should draft a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? Weirdly, that if I told them the truth behind the simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. I guess I would take life in prison over, like... I guess I would rather take, life in prison than dying. But, Yana, don't tell me you... Much to my regret, I am as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Shaddai. We found clear evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. Yeah, it was Jake Marshall's handprint, right? They belong to Officer Jake Marshall, and you look surprised, so you don't know everything. What kind of police evidence? Blood-stained fingerprint, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're gonna accuse Mr. Marshall? Yes! In the ultimate plan. And I am so happy that we have a plan right now. We have to play the card we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Shaddai? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. Okay. February 24th, 10 a.m., District Courtroom number 9. We keep bouncing around different courtrooms, don't we? Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Yana Shaddai. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... Huh? I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time. Do you even have proof he was murdered at the second place? Yeah, I just realized this. But look. Let me check this. Right, all you have is an estimated time of death between these two times. When do you even see the picture that was taken by the camera? Like, when was this picture taken? Okay, but yeah. But that's not physically possible, is it? What more? I hear the victim of the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Maybe if we can't blame Mr. Marshall, we can just blame Edgeworth. Everyone would believe us. Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as a prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Is it? I thought your job was to, like, build a case against somebody. Aren't you, like, allowed to, like, not present evidence in that case? Today, I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In the so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. So I'm gonna waste the entire second day of court. Now that what set Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things. Well, it's very easy when his job is to make something. My whole job is to make sure his building falls apart. Even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. I mean, he probably has, like, an idea of what's happening. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait? He's just doing improv, Emma. Improv. I can do improv. Very well. Let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred in the police department. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? The murderer? No, the accused. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Will the defendant please state his name and occupation? Yes, sir. I'm Officer Mike Meaton, sir. My occupation is... That would be murderer, sir. No, you don't say that if you want to not be one. So you're telling us you're a professional killer. Assassin. Sir, that would be me, sir. I'm the one who did it. Mike Meaton, I thought you didn't want to be a murderer. Didn't you tell me that? I'll never tell anyone, sir, again, sir. You have to believe me, sir. Actually, what we'd like to hear from you is, sir, I'm what you call part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions don't can't possibly comprehend. Ha, okay, that's funny, I like that. But how old are you? You're only 20. Well, I guess you are part of the younger generation compared to the judge. But then, a lot of people are sitting... Okay, well, except for you. You're way older than all of the other people. 29. Okay. Second oldest. A person whose actions you don't can't possibly comprehend. But please, Mr. Edward. Sir, help me, sir. My meetings. Officer meetings. Yes, sir? Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order. Okay, you're playing into his delusions. Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I am a part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir. Okay. What generation would he be in? Is he like a baby boomer? Is he a zoomer? A Gen X? What are you? You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. Hey, didn't we say the same thing about you, Emma? That's funny. You were saying that to him when we said it about you. Crime report, sir. Although it is not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious person on the security camera, and I rushed into the room. Oh yeah, Jake Marshall was in charge of the crime scene, so he couldn't be the evidence room guard. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, and then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you? Do unto others before they can do unto you. I like that, that's fun. Do unto others before others can do unto you. That's the Meeting family motto, sir. I see. Then you fainted, and the Tolkien helped you regain consciousness by slapping your ass. Yes, sir, he knocked me upside the head, sir. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need here is more information to work with, so I suggest press Emily's statement, Phoenix. Okay. So, let's see what could be useful here. Okay, hold it! Mr. Meeting, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? What did I even mean? What are the general affairs of a police department? Tell me, Meetings. Tell me. Yes, sir. I'm in charge of hiring new recruits, sir. Oh no. So you're in charge of a lot of people. Oh God. Yikes. Now there's a scary start. Evidence transfer was taking place on the day of the crime, which means many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed. I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. The Blue Badger? Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by the Chief of Detectives, sir. I want to ensure that it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That is my sole mission for the day. Meetings? I think they were trying to get you out of the way. I think they wanted to get you out of the way. Nobody would want to do this. I see. Sounds like a very, important mission. Yeah, the judge sees what's really happening. After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. Are you allowed to just do that? Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there? I spotted a suspicious man on the security camera, and rushed into the room. Hold it! In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card. Am I correct? Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck, sir. See, it looks like me. So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right? There it is, sir. I found it. It's this one right here. Can you please read us the number? Yes, sir. It's 4989596. Write my number, sir. I'm never good at reading your numbers. Huh? I see. Huh? But the number 4989596 is shown being used twice. Please explain, witness. It's really no mystery, sir. One to that in, one to that out. Maybe. The first time is when I relocated the blue badger to the evidence room. And the second time is when I went to go get him after everything had settled down. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You don't need to do your card to that out. I forgot. I see. So it was during that second time when you were bonked upside the head. When I spotted that man on the security camera. I thought your job today was to guard the evidence room, not the blue badger. Okay. Data added to the ID tort record. Tard record, I don't know. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was shutting the attack. Hold it. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you? It was a knife, sir. A knife. Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you? What happened then? Well, sir, me charging onto him like that, he looked as surprised as I was. You aren't exactly the type of person someone would want to run into. Right when I reacted, sir, I flung my arm like an octopus, struggling to detain him. Okay, meeting? Do you not do, like, training? Like, self-defense training? Don't they have to give you that in top school? That's how I got this dash on my hand. Maybe if you just tap your tool... Maybe if you just tap your tool, your hand wouldn't be... When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. I fought for my life. Then, I did it. What exactly do you mean when you said you did it? Like, you did it in college? Or in high school? I don't know. I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. I don't know what your type is, or what you look like it is. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I grabbed the knife from him. You took a knife? I flung him around and performed a disarming maneuver. Okay, well, I guess you learned that. I made sure to close my eye like a man. I see. He must have been desperate. The next thing I knew, his right coat was drenched in a sea of my blood, and then, the next thing I know, yes, he punched me right in the face, sir. It hurt. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. About what time do you regain consciousness? No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious. Well, okay. Well, yeah. sometimes when people are alright, they wake up, they want to know what time it is. Do you have a watch? If you don't have a watch, that's okay, but yeah. Okay, I guess you don't know. What about the officer who woke you up? Hey, can we blame in the officer who woke him up so we can get the information from him? Oh, right. According to the report, when the officer that woke the witness, it was about 5:30. Thank you, Edward. You're useful after all. He hit me right on the head, too. Meetings, it sounds like he wanted to beat you up and not wake you up. I woke up crying tears of pain. That's nice. It's nice that you recovered, that is. When I came to, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir. Your mission? Yes, sir, the blue badger, sir. I moved him. Before things got out of hand. Ugh. Well, we can all rest easy now. You saved the blue badger. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Yes, sir, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? What? Wait, are we just assuming that this guy actually murdered somebody? I think what actually happened was that, they had a fight. Mr. Meatins fell unconscious, and then Mr. Goodman ran away. Or whoever was pretending to be him. He got a point. Yes, Officer Meatins? With regards to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Why would they send this to your jail cell? Also, how did you play it? Do jail cells just have a VCR player? Chief Dan delivered it to me yesterday morning, sir. The chief delivered it? What is that? The videotape? Yes, sir. That's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room. What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape. And was told I had been mistakenly erased. Oh shit, they actually lied to Edgeworth. Damn. That's quite a mistake. I should do what I'm told, sir. It's really the only thing I'm good at. Hey, I get that, kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. Your communication with the police department is as good as ever. Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim. I wonder how it's gonna look. Oh, please stop saying the word murder, sir. It scares me. A video of a real murder. Yeah, what are we getting ourselves into? I wonder how did they do this, right? Oh my god. Oh, that's awesome. It's like real footage. I love this. Why is that light on? There's like a light on one of the authors. Oh, wait, who is that? Is that Bruce Goodman? His face is being covered by that dumb doll. Oh, he's looking at it. Did something fall out of the author? Oh, Officer Meatins. The camera is so slow. Why would you put it at this angle? Oh my god. Oh shit. Oh, he just blew him. There's blood. Hurry, Go back. I need to see what happened. Turn around. Come on. Is that Officer Meetings? Where did the guy go? And he left the yonder open just like the image. Come on. Maybe I'll catch him leaving. He's gone. Shit. Okay, so we still don't know if it was Officer Goodman or not. Well, I believe we are all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirring within us? What the hell was that wiggling piece of plywood? Oh my god, he said the hell word. I didn't think they would do that. That tool. Sure, that's the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs department. Wait, aren't you all police officers? Isn't your entire job to do with criminals? It's the blue badger, sir. Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Security video. Video from the security camera placed in the evidence room, added to the court record. Yes, well, anyway, this tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room, and a sort of activity did take place. Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that alright with you, Officer Meetings? Hold it, Edgy boy. No, Edward, I don't think you realize something that every real world lawyer knows. And something that some of you guys might not know is that when it comes to evidence, pretty much, I'm pretty sure the lowest form of evidence is witness testimony. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is, right? I think there's a video made by Resource about how witnesses can obviously, like, misremember, and they can be compelled to misremember certain details, or how many people were there, or even what the guy looked like, kinda. So, like, Edward, I'm pretty sure camera and video evidence has to be, like, among the highest level. You are getting a video of what happened, and you're willing to not accept it? Edward, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to put you down a bit. You were up here for a bit, but now you're here because you just got handed the latest piece of proof-finding evidence in your life. Yes, sir, and you wish, sir. Are we just ignoring the video? Wait, can I check something? Do I have the video? Can I watch it? I can! Oh, that's awesome. Okay. His face can't clearly be seen in the video. But there's no question the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. Okay, buddy. Tell me what Goodman looks like. And tell me what the man looks like. I mean, he opened the yonder where he retired Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. Okay, buddy, that is not... You are using logic to figure out if it's Goodman. I want to hear if you saw Goodman's face, not if you logically believe it was Goodman. There's a difference. The yonder he opened was unquestionably Detective Goodman's yonder, sir. Meetings. We are acting if you saw Goodman's face, not his fingerprints, or him opening a yonder. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. Wait a minute. Let me check something. Let me go the other way. Yo, okay, you see how all of these are not turned on? But that one is turned on. And if that is the yachter he's talking about, then I already found a top prediction. It doesn't matter if he could open the yachter. It was already unyachtered. What's this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a yachter equipped with a fingerprint-activated yacht. These yachts ensure that each yachter can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Okay, yeah, you're right. Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have been Mr. Goodman. Very well, the defendant may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where the cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's what I have to start. Okay, I'm gonna save. Oh, okay. His face can clearly be seen in the video. Gonna overplace this one, and this one. Okay. I'm gonna plus you on everything. Tell me, were you able to get good look at him? At the face of the man who attacked you with a knife? Tell me his face. Brown eyes? Blue eyes? Green eyes? What color even were they? Sir, if you must label me as having seen... If you must label people as having seen or not seen the man's face, I would be classified as... The yatter? Is it the yatter that you wouldn't see? The yatter? But you were standing right in front of him, were you not? More to the point, you were the person who fought him, aren't you? Oh yes, but I didn't get a clear look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who directly looks at people while talking to them, you see? Oh, you can't make eye contact. I get it. Yeah, that's a good trait for a police officer. Not remembering people's flip faces. Fucking faces. Still, I'm sure it was him. I bet my bag on it. I know the objective don't directly into the next one, but who cares? But you don't know that for sure, do you? You don't know anything for sure. You're dumb. You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face. Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seen it. Since his face can't be identified in the video, only you can verify it. Well, why is everyone looking at me? And not like I'm a witness who would testify in a court of law. If I had to label your statistics as disturbing or meetings, having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please be more certain when you testify. Yes, sir. You claimed the man who planted the knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you are positive it was him. Okay, this is probably where I have to do it. About the yachters, is there no other way to open them? No, sir. I tried all kinds of methods in the past. They only respond to the registered fingerprint, sir. I wonder what kind of method he tried. Like peeing on it? Wailing in somebody else's hands? If the man opened the yachter, which only responds to its registered fingerprint, then he must be the person the yachter was assigned to. Exactly my point, sir, and this too. The yachter he opened was unquestionably Detective Goodman's yachter. Okay, let's see what this part blanks. How do you know that information? I've heard rumors, sir, from people in the know, sir. People in the know? The workers in the department cafeteria, they keep me informed. How would they know? What, did Goodman tell them? Hey, young lady, do you know that my yachter is the one on the back wall? Do you know that? Well, now you do, and you can tell meetings later. They also listen to my romantic trouble, sir. Oh. Well, good on them. Nice young ladies. For the record, the open yachter did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I know nobody here wants to believe this person, but I verified this information through a more reliable source. So the victim opened the yachter with his own fingerprint. So it must have been him. No one else could have unlocked it. However, the most important detail is not shown in the video. The man's face. Sir, if I may say something, sir. Please do. After all, you are the one being examined. I do not understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint yacht. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled sedate to testify enough to this, sir. Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie. That is. Unless the defense can prove a problem with it. Oh, hey! Edwards, you're giving me an opening. Why? Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again. Is there a problem with the security video? Okay, let me save here now. Okay, there we go. There's a problem, a big one, regarding the video contained on this tape. There's one particular thing that seems rather strange. Strange? This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Officer Goodman. What? This video contains such a contradiction? Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video. Edgeworth, you can't just take what I want to do and claim that it's your idea, butthole. You would want me to point it out. Yeah, of course you would. I want you to point it out. Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further investigate this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us the contradiction you speak of. I have to point out a problem in the video? This is the first time I've had to do this. Yeah, I know, this is a pretty cool feat, sir. You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take the video and be sure to point out the right thing. Please don't play it too many times. I can't sit down watching this video. Well, then you shouldn't have brought it to court. How did this guy ever become a police officer? I bet his recruiter was just like him. Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where in the contradiction that indicates something? How do I pause? Pause a B. Okay. Okay, here we go. How do I present? That would be this one. The thing that's strange about this video had gotta be this. Officer meetings. Sir, do you mean me, sir? As I understand it, the author apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint if it's a match. The light turns on and the yacht is released, correct or incorrect. According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. If I didn't have to wait for the whole video, I should dip this. I know what it is. I pointed it out. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the author, then rewind to a little earlier. Okay, this part is a bit repetitive, but you know what? It's okay. I actually do like the mechanic. Phoenix, right? Couldn't you just point out before anybody came into the image how it was already on? You didn't need us to go to the place and then go back afterwards. Here, notice the light? What's this? It's already it. And nobody touched it. Precisely my point, Your Honor. The author was already open for The author was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. Ah! Order! What's the meaning of this? Judge, the defense's argument is simple in nature. The only proof that Meetings has of anything is the fact that the author opened because of his fingerprint. However, if the author was already open, then his argument is meaningless. I could do it. You could do it. Unless this person had no proof of anything. It's very simple, Your Honor. The author wasn't locked on the day of the crime. What? What argument do you have? But the author yacht are controlled by an electronic system. When the door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the author is automatically locked. Okay? Yeah, that's pretty smart of you. Pretty smart of you to point that out. Although, here's the issue. You're wrong. It wasn't locked. You can say all you want about how it's impossible for it to lock, about how it was automatically locked. But here's the issue, Edward. What you fail to realize is that I have proof that it was unlocked. You can't beat me when I have proof. You can say all you want about why, but the why doesn't matter as much as the it is. Because it is. Oh, I know. It must have been broken down. Maybe. Of course, I'm not an expert in this. That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction. Oh well, I think it just should. Oh well, I guess it's just going to show that novices should keep their mouths shut. Well, then how are you ever supposed to be not a novice if you never raise your voice? So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? Do I have to? My point wasn't to figure out why, but to figure out why this guy is wrong. Me, Your Honor? Yes. Why wasn't the yacht the yacht? Me, Your Honor. Me. Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field, not my job, really. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jam the system sensor. Something jammed the sensor, say? There's something else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's gotta be another clue somewhere in this footage. Very well, let's inspect the video once more. The author wasn't yacht. Mr. Wright, please point out the issues or something. How do I fast forward A? Okay, nothing's happening with it, and I can't see anything wrong with it. Oh, wait, what? Wait, what is this? Something fell out. Something here, something fell out, okay, let's present. Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. Really? You're gonna make me fast forward through the whole video? Shouldn't they already know? Like, where are we playing the video? Is it, like, on my desk? Is it, like, on a big screen? What's this? Something white fell out of the author. But sure, if there might have billions that when things fall out of doors... But sure, if there might have billions that things fall out when doors are opened. I often fall out and roll great distances in my car. We can't be sure that the item was completely inside the yacht to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggers the yacht when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door, so as to block the sensor? Inserted, like the dildo in the woman's vagina? No, come on. Really? I kind of wish I could skip this part, even if it's important. Because, like, I already saw the video. This white thing wasn't inside the author. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out my patrol vehicle, sir. And then the door closing, chokes me. It chokes me. But the object would have to be incredibly thin to fit in the door. Yeah, okay. Well, you have no proof that it isn't all of those qualities. Not only that, it would also have to block electronic currents. It would need to be an inductor, like rubber. Yes, an insulator. But at the crime scene, the object might have been something that fits the description. But sir, by insulator, you don't mean... I think I finally figured this one out. Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was the insulator that was stuck in the author's door? Okay, so I know that it can't be any of these, because I got these on the first day. I got all of these while I was in the evidence room. So let's go here. I think they get a rubber glove. Oh, and it's from the SL9 incident. And Goodman worked on the SL9 case. That's why it was in his yachter. It was his evidence. I found this near the yachter. A thin rubber glove. But we can't be sure that it was in the victim's yachter. Yes, we can. This was his case, and we saw a video showing an object that is also white fall out of a yachter, and this matches literally all of the qualities you were talking about. It is, buddy. It has a tag that says SL9 incident. The video seemed to depict the victim opening the yachter. But that isn't the case. It's Yit Yap attached to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened the yachter. Is it not so, Officer Meetings? Sir, it would appear so, sir. Yeah, I got ya. I got all of you. Order, order, order. So are we to believe then that the victim, whom the witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman? Do not be misled, Your Honor. What do you mean, Mr. Edward? The defense had merely demonstrated the possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. Because of the blood. You didn't say because of the blood. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Meeting, please testify about this. About what? Sir, me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Yeah, Edward, you can't just say one more testimony and expect people to know what the heck you're talking about. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir. Is this a show? A shit show? Very well, begin your testimony. Okay, guys, what do you have, Edward? What proof? Mystery Man 2? That sounds like a bad movie title. There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. Oh, you're talking about his card. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. An ID card record. I see. I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. Okay. Goodman's number. Okay. The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim. Just before the crime. Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. You are right, however, there is one thing that strikes me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why are there so few people using this room? Yeah, that's a really good question. Okay. Every 2 years, after 2 years, a case is closed. And it is due for transferal on February. Let's assume that the police department solves hundreds of cases. So why are there so few people using this room? This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Oh, just hearing that made my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't really make much of a difference. The spiky hair kinda gets rid of it. Sometimes I just look like Yeri. There were only a few cases up the referral there, and most were cleared by noon. Right, I see. Now let's move on to the cross-examination. Yes, your sir, Judge Honor. Yes, Judge Sir. So, unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, do you? Yes, sir, solid as stone, sir. And my hair weren't wrapped in bandages. I'd even did the V of a victory sign. Couldn't he just use his right hand for that? Well, yeah, but the artist doesn't want to draw a new hand vector. Yeah, hear him out fully. As we've seen, one never knows what he might say until the very end. Yeah. To enter the, okay. In the card handling of your net one of these ID cards? Yes, sir, this card right next to my cuff, sir. I keep it here so I won't ever forget it, sir. But what if someone were to steal it from you, leaving you out in the open like that? Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets seduct when I get out of my car? Well, the remaining time is my ID card that gets seduct. Because I'm not trying to be rude, but you shouldn't be a detective. Instead of the door closing, my ID choked me. Maybe I should just leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer only has one ID. Okay? Wait, how many times have Goodman lost his ID? Can I ask the court how many times Goodman has lost his ID? What if somebody took his ID and the only thing he could do is get a new one? Both the police department and the prosecution office can attest to this. Please proceed with your testimony. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. Oh, shit. Yet it be noted that this is the record the witness is referring to. Let me see. Yeah, that would be it. Detective Goodman. What's the matter? According to this, Mr. Edwards, your name is on here. What did you do, you crook? So it is, Your Honor. Not a prosecutor again. Hey, maybe he's behind all of it. Being a prosecutor, he can hide the evidence. Mommy, is the man in blue a murderer? Shh, don't stare at him. You got the wrong color, kid. He's red. He's blue. I'm red. I'm awesome. It would seem the inquiry committee will want to speak to you again today. I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination. Poor Mr. Edward. It must be so difficult for him. I can imagine. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. Mr. Wright, what do you think? I'm confused. What? The problem with this ID card is far too obvious. It's not yet Edward to miss something like this. You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show them what we got. Okay, that's nothing. This is just you telling me the truth. This is also true. That's true. But that's the last statement? Wait, but what is the evidence? What do I present? Shit. I might actually want to save on this one. Okay, let's do this. Okay, what evidence do I even have? Not this. Maybe this, because it was found in the prosecutor's office, not the evidence room. Not this. Not this. Not this. Not this. Not that. Not, well, maybe, but no. Not this. Not this. Not this. Nope. 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 Maybe, maybe not. Not this. Not this. Maybe this, but what did you say then? Maybe it's that one. Okay, that didn't help. Maybe, no, not that. We already used it. No, it can't be that. We already gone over the authors. Not this. Or this. Or this. I'm gonna try the ID card. Wait 1 moment, Officer Meetings. I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the scene of the crime. That makes sense. No, the other one. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Why is he not there? What is he hiding? What's his trap? Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. Lost item report is only half completed. It shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess, you believe this something was his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there's a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Haha! What's Edward gonna say to this? Order, order. Now, what did this all mean? Judge, it is the defense's belief that the person who Mike Meetings interacted with was not the victim. Or at least, that Mike Meetings is an unreliable witness and he should be taken down. Off the stand. It's only me one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meetings encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Bada bada bam. Order, order, order. Did the prosecution have a response? Say something, Edward. I have only one thing to say to the defense. Huh? Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Mike Meetings encountered was not Detective Goodman, correct? There are two grounds to support this. One, first, the yachter in the evidence room was already on the yacht. Second, the victim yacht his ID card, thus allowing him to get in, even if he wasn't Bruce Goodman. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a saint, then the murder in the evidence room is also a saint. In other words, the security camera did not show the instant of the murder. Well, yeah, that was pretty obvious. That was super obvious, Edgeworth. You know how I know that? Because the body isn't there. Also, we never see Bruce Goodman. Okay, we see Mike Meaton slumped over, but where the heck is Bruce Goodman in the image? He isn't there. So, of course, this video never showed any murder at all. Well, yeah, that is, I guess that's right. All the proof points to it. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago, you seemed content to point your finger around. This isn't gonna end well. Well, it seems you finally realized exactly what you've done to such lengths to prove. Explain yourself, Mr. Edward. Let me just what he's trying to say. What he's saying is that since I have proven that the person in the security guard room, since I have proven that the murder in the evidence room was completely fake, it has nothing to do with what happened in my case, in Yana's case. So, she's saying that it's irrelevant, and that we should go back to the other crime scene with that evidence. The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a saint, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So, the real murder could only take place in one location, the underground parking lot. Wait. No, wait, you're wrong. You did this. Chat. Yo. Okay, so remember how we talked about in the last video how much blood there was here? Is it Mike Meaton's blood? Who is it? Whose blood even is it? And now look at this. There's so much less blood here than there. How do you explain that? And whose blood is at the evidence room? Is it Mike Meaton's? Is it the imposter? Tell me, Edward. You have the ability to run tests, you bastard. At the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Miss Yana Sadai, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Ah! Shit! We fell into a trap. I knew that testimony was way too shoddy. It was all a trap from the beginning. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Mr. Meaton's encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to only examine the murder of Detective Goodman. So, Your Honor, Mr. Wright, you have to do something, or else you're not. What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? We object, like we always do, Edward. I mean, right? Objection! One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you get proven. No, I would never object to what I'm proven. Because I follow the truth. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you babbling about? This cross-examination had proven one thing, and one thing only. The security tape did not show the actual murder. That is self-evident. I really wish it would just fast forward. It's a good video, though. I liked it. They made it well. However, it cannot be said that he's unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Blood samples and large traces of blood were found in the evidence room. Yeah, Edward, you thought we would forget, but an attorney never forgets. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter. Mr. Edward? Yeah, Your Honor? If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses would be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. This might be my chance. Time to call in a certain Texas Ranger to the sedan. Okay, Phoenix, right, I know you have that idea, but yeah, all you really have to do is ask where this blood came from. All I need to know is whose blood is that? Is it Bruce Goodman's? Or is it Mike Meaton's? Or is it the imposter? Tell me whose blood it is. Right now, Edward. I know you can do it. We've done blood tests. Your Honor, the defense would like to select a specific witness. Oh? Whom do you have in mind? Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activity that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution would like to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply. Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would like to have testify, what is his or her name? Officer Jake Marshall. Want him? I can't let Edward know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel like we should have to hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't take longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? We will, Your Honor. Tort is now in recess. Okay, you're gonna be continued? Oh, no, okay. February 24, 11:32 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean? You told for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out. No, I haven't. I haven't figured out a lot out. Like, why were you net to the body? If Goodman was murdered in the evidence room, how the hell did he body get all the way down into the parking lot of a different building? What is the SL9 incident? I don't know anything, really. I haven't figured anything out. Yana, you're the one who knows everything. Emma. You always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How could you be so told? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, I guess I am. I'll come back later. I'm out. Wait, Detective W, what is it? Ugh, you got like the nerve, pal, making a detective run all around or on duty. And to top it off, you told me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Sorry, Detective. What do you mean you've been running around? Why? You better be, pal. Hey! I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Shaddai. That's okay. So, have you blocked what I asked? Oh ho ho. You mean this, right? My apologies, Detective. Due to my previous circumstances, I was forced to use Wright's name when making my request. My name? Why didn't you ask me to do it? I would have done it in a heartbeat for you. Never in a million years have I thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy. The SL9 incident. But Yana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them. I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in that case. Miss Shaddai was a witness? The SL9 incident files. Files for the Joe Dart killings. Solved 2 years ago. Received from Yana Shaddai. Taken from me. You don't want anything to do with serial murders. What do you mean? Oh, what? Now that I brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me? Emma, but why? Why is your name in here? What? My name's in there? I don't know. Yes. No, it couldn't be. Yana, this SL9 incident, is that... That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dart killings. The Joe Dart... No, Yana! That's over with! No! Emma! She ran away! You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here. Shit. Jake Marshall. Angel Shadar. Damn. Damien Dant. Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Yana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't just be a coincidence. Knowing you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I better take a good look at this file. To be continued. Save. I need to keep going. Yet keep going on this merry train. Yet go until we reach 15 hours. February 24, 12:14 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 5, number 9. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Yana Shaddai. Emma did come back. Allow me to call the net witness to the sedan. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just the same. I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we did it. Oh, I know. You're a patrolman. I for my name. If you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. This guy won't help me say his name or occupation. Howling wind? I've never heard Edgeworth describe it that way. Wait, is it? I never heard Edgeworth described that way? Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is that correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? A desperado soul is as boundless as the desert sea, the desert sand. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. Oh, thou is I who seek the wandering blitzen of blight and frail haven. Day of the crime. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They say I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a street side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man. So, if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. Ammo as in collections? I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? The authors and the tabloids. I mean the security camera and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Well, yeah, but what about the fingerprint-activated yacht on the evidence authors? Fingerprint-activated yacht? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being really helpful. He's not that good with machines or following orders. Everyone got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Cross-examination. Day of the crime. My job is to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. How exactly do you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved into the security camera monitor. That room's so still. Even time dies in there. I'm just a caretaker who interred the recording. You interred them? Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When the time comes, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I erased the tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. This guy has a flair for the dramatic, but that didn't do him any good. It ain't. So, in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room. They say I was supposed to make 3 rounds a day, but that ain't my style. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know yet rules get in his way. No desperados I know joined the police force. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, except between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's yachter. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner, can't say I do. I haven't been in that clip for weeks. How did this guy avoid being fired? Someone must light him from above. Besides, the room protected by 2 security systems anyway. You used to be a detective, so you viewed the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course, back in my day, my yachter was a dull mine of evidence. And yet you didn't know about the fingerprint yachting mechanism? Sorry, partner, I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. Buddy, that is barely a machine. That's quite incredible in its own way. The sensors on the yachter handle cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence, and we decide not to tell them just to fuck with them. Now that he mentions it, Detective W said something like that too. At any rate, it doesn't seem this irrelevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? If I remember right, I was at a street side saloon at the time it went down. Tell me about it. What were you doing in a place like that? Getting drunk? I was eating spaghetti. Not even angels sedate youngsters beat that part of your Madonna Sapia pasta. I have no idea what that is or how to pronounce it. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. That said, this is usually what Edward says, I'll cut your salary. Do you not want to raise this year? But he didn't say it. I'm just an innocent, traveling man, so if you're out of ammo and time that I hit the road. Out of ammo, Officer Marshall. That's right, partner, or as you call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My severe horse is waiting for me to carry me back west into the sunset. One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible regarding the evidence room, the witness did not appear to have seen anything. He's a fucking useless human being. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve. I best keep my tool. Before I use it though, I better up the ante. How? Okay, that didn't really help me. Yeah. If I remember right, I was on 3. Okay, so I actually do have to find evidence. But what do I have to contradict him? No, not really at least. No. 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 Nope. 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 Wait, let me check this. Maybe he's 7, but we don't know that, so I can't use it. Nope. 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 Okay. Okay, feeling right said we just up the ante, but I don't see how we could do that. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being told in to testify like this. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you drag me down here. And blame yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a really large trail behind at the scene of the crime. Or to be exact, a handprint. Yes, a real good, partner. Like I said, I am the caretaker of that clip. I pay my respects, that is making my rounds about once a month. Okay, so you do enter, you just don't enter like you're supposed to. It's only natural my fingerprint would be in there. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprint was covered in blood. Witness, what is the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprint were found at the scene of the crime? The blood was wiped away. However, a human test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall, it seemed to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on their shoulders. What? I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall, about the blood-stained fingerprint? Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints found at the scene of the crime. Blood? Okay. Stained fingerprints. Yeah, as I said before, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in the evidence room. One of them just happened to be in the same place as the blood-stained fingerprint. The murderer touched the author where my fingerprint was by chance. The blood stains and the fingerprints are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know that the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it. Well, that's bullshit. The witness's explanation appears valid. No, it isn't valid. You know how hard that would be? I know what his fingerprint looks like. Let me show you. Look at that. Chat. See this? Why isn't his upper part of his hand? Yeah, that would mean that somehow only 3 of his fingers were covered in. How do you do that? And how is it so perfectly aligned? Although there is room for doubt. Yeah, would it be fun without any doubt, partner? The defense may now cross-examine the witness. It's like hiding something. I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. How do I prove it? Because I honestly don't know what it could be. I better just press him. Maybe one of the statements will bring a lie. That because you, how do you, put it? Pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That yachter happened to be mine. What? What do you mean? I said what I mean. That's the yachter I used to use when I was a detective. The yachter I still use. You're a patrolman, not a detective. Why would a patrolman use a yachter? All the getting now though, you broken heap of dreams. I see. If the drains in my plate weren't all over that yachter. Are they never cleaned? Did nobody clean the room? I assume that somebody cleans the room every once in a while. And that was 2 years ago. Apparently, his fingerprint data was never removed from that yachter's clothes lamming. He must have been using the fingerprint yacht all the time without even knowing it. Shit. What now? One of them just have to be in the same place as the blood-stained fingerprint. So then, what about the bloody handprint? What's your mind? That's no mystery. Please explain. My yachter is covered with my fingerprint. It just so happened. The murder cut with my... Okay. The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. That one thing great, partner. You ain't got that no effect from me rejecting me a fingerprint. You wanna know why? The blood stain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Unrelated? They're different night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. One started with breakfast, while the other is a type of murder. He's right. Although seemingly alike, they are totally different. I don't see what homonyms have to do with this. How do you know that? I may be a owner, but I do my job. I keep up on the report. You're a patrolman. Why would you have reports about it? There was a blood stain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found on Digman's yachter. However, no fingerprint was detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer, wearing gloves, happened to place their hand on top of Jay Marshall's fingerprint? That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal of blood in the desert It's just food with the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. The security tape. Maybe we need to keep using it. So long as my trail isn't there, you can't say otherwise. Well, that's not fair. Judge, hey, this guy could easily erase himself from any video. That's all he would have to do. Erase a video of him going in. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider yourself careful when you're cross-examining. Yes, Your Honor. Now continue your testimony, State Marshal. That's a weird thing to say. What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to this crime, ain't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. You're right. But that video is not too useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. The camera is panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone were familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. Like you! We don't have time for your speculation, Mr. Wright. What are you talking about? I wasn't speculating anything. All I was saying was the truth. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence that this video indicates Officer Marshall was present, do so now. Well, shit, now I have to check the video. I'm not finding shit. I'm not seeing anything. That we know that already. We already saw that part. Maybe something happening on the other side with him. Okay. Nothing. Just a dumb blue badger blocking people's faces. And then he hit him. And he hit him and then the author. And then we then pan away and find nothing. That's a author. And that's the author behind the blue badger is Detective Gumshoe's author. We're not even. Wait a minute. Wait. What the? Wait a minute. What was that part? Let me check. No, there's nothing there. Look. See there? I saw something hanging out of it. Didn't I? Show evidence. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one who made the mistake. See and monitor all you want, Edward. I have willpower. Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer State Marshall. I need to fast forward. I really do like the system, though. It's fun. I like being able to rewind and do this to a video. It's really cool concept. Wait, shit! Well, I'm an idiot. Of course, I'm not one to gun down boys. Ow! Okay, yeah. No, wait, what, man? No. I know I was all. And they just sent me back to the testimony. I'm gonna have to go back to this one. Okay. I'm gonna try to fast forward to this. Okay. Okay, well, I think they don't make me watch the whole video. Okay, I have to be very careful or I'm gonna have to redo that all over again. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might be the one who makes a mistake. So much is incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall. Okay, A is fast forward. I have to keep fast forwarding until everything's done. When we get into a fight, okay? And then when we see Mike Meaton slumped over. Okay, now the right button to hit is X. Pause. And where's present? Blaming our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll not soon regret, Officer Marshall. Today is a short in Texas, and so are our tempers. To you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or yes. Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. You can clearly be seen in this video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes! We hit it, boy! Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The T lies in the certain author shown in the video. And I wish we did dip this part. That author with the white cloth dipping out of it, that was the witnesses, I believe. Now yet rewind the video a bit. And we'd have to go all the way back over here. And then all the way back. I do really like this concept though. It's fun and engaging, and it gives me so many options. Oh, the white cloth, it's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. It appeared during the video, between the hours this time and that time. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What more, you opened your yachter when the camera was turned away. Order, order. It would seem that the only... Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. Huh? So what if my yachter was open? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. Well, unless your yachter was turned on. Unless your yachter was already unyacht. The only person who could unyacht it is you. But the light wasn't on. I would notice it. So it had to be you. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened the yachter and stuck it in. And not my fault he happened to choose mine. Okay. How did he open it? How do you think the yachter's open? Yeah, wait, how do you think they're open? They're called yachters. You don't have a key, you don't have to put in a code, they just open automatically but anybody? Marshall, you're a dumbass. What? Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? Because I want you. This guy isn't just plain dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, But you're the only one who opened that particular yonder. Oh yeah? I call your bluff and raise you 2 aces. You say I opened that yonder? Now prove it! It's so easy. Too easy, in fact. Yeah. Fingerprint sensor. We talked about this earlier today. The yonder can only be opened by the detective they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is that? That's how every yonder works, though. St. Marshall, your idea was dumb even if you guys used T's. How would he get your T? How would he know your code? Well, Detective W did mention something about this. I already know. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or yes? I only thought no! Order, order, order. Witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you, this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now please, tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Oh yay! Please answer the question. What is he doing now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can? Well, I can. How many of these 4 plans? There's no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet, Officer Meaton didn't see Officer Marshall. He testified. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. You bet your butt I do, Edgy. That's right. The only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? Officer Marshall was standing right here. So Officer Meaton didn't notice he was standing there? That's almost credible as Meaton's warp theory. Did he say about a warp theory? The chamber's empty, pal. Better reload. Wait, what? Oh, he's the victim. I'm an idiot. Perhaps you should think a little more about where Officer Marshall was. Okay, I know where I went wrong. Okay, so my issue was that I thought Meaton would be the victim. But no, they told him the killer. Even though he's not the killer at all, right? No, Meaton literally was unconscious over here. He is not killer of anybody. But no, he's the victim. Officer Marshall was standing right here. There, but that where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Incorrect, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe that the victim in this video is Officer Marshall. It was you who dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Meaton witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Edward, are you dumb? Literally, Meaton said he had no idea who he was looking at. Once he saw the man's face, he knew for sure. Meaton is a dumbass. You know that. Why are you defending him? May I point out, though, that Officer Meaton did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card. Yes, and how did I lay know? Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he show it? Because every ID card has a picture of the person's face. If he saw his face, he would know for sure. Yes, he would have needed to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. Huh? As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is clearly on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meaton would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? This blue dirt is so hard. You've got tried imagination, partner. We've got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. It is. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. You're a patrolman, bitch. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I'm particularly terrible your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I terrible your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eye, partner. See that you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. Ah! This can't be happening. It's so obvious that he's the one. What can I do? Edward, are you gonna help us? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what somebody told me when I was first starting out. When you run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in the disguise, okay? But rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was open in the first place? To put evidence in it? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance that it might have been discovered later. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense's argument, Officer Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason, and he left something sticking out of it. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seemed to indicate that. He opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot. Shit. Very well. We'll take yet another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the evidence. Okay? What could it even be? I don't know. This is open. But we only did that. That's not important anymore, I think. There's nothing here. I don't see anything. Okay, maybe, how do I be? Nothing with him. Why he had to take it out? That was deflection, right? Wait, is that blood? Wait, can I go back? What is that on his shoulder? Is that blood or something else? But that's not good proof, is it? Okay, we have the yachter over here. Why would he open it to put in a cloth, though? And where he did it? No, shit! Ow! Okay, yeah, keep going. Okay, he opened it to put it inside, but what is actually in this piece of cloth? That is the direction, isn't it? Perhaps the video, the teeth are all unanswered questions. Very well, you're taking our look at the video camera. After committing the crime, the witness opened his yachter to put away the right claw. Please show us why the witness had to open his yachter. Why he had to open his yachter. To put the white cloth in. But why would he put away a white cloth? It's not that. The glove and the cloth don't look alike. Here's a yachter. Well, that's blood. But is that it? Is it just the blood? But that isn't proof. But the issue is that after this, we're never going to see Bruce Goodman in the picture again. Nothing, see? Yachter. Okay, and then after that, we're just going to see it in there. Okay. Maybe the blood. But what did the blood prove? Oh shit! I really wish the touching was shorter. Oh, okay, yeah, no, I did it. Wait, I didn't reload. Okay, so I don't have to do that super yawn thing. Okay, I'll do this again. Okay, be in pause. Okay, I need to never hit the W button. Okay, wait, okay, maybe this. For some reason, you denied yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end. Yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meaton barged in on you. When he asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meaton panicked, and the white cloth you were wearing was soaked with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that. So you hid the coat in your yachter. Not bad, partner. Did I get it right? Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edward. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent as you are today, we all wouldn't have had to be where we are now. Now, would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. Beginning to end. Alright. It's here the time I come. Marshall's confession. I had to do it that day. I couldn't sit there by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and threatened him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Marshall. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which area wouldn't be caught on camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Shit! What about the blood? So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meaton managed to cut his own hand. Not asking that he's the donor. Okay, but that's speculation. You're assuming based on what you know. But all we have to do is do a blood test and we can figure out if it's his blood or not. That would be really easy. Test one blood against his blood and you'll get a match or a not match. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Yeah, so that's a dumb theory. Marshall confession. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just sit there by and let it die. When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident. 2 years of passion that takes controlled. It was going to be completely... It was going to completely end with the transfer that day. Not if I had anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what do you hope to accomplish by sneaking the evidence? By sneaking into the evidence room? When the case is closed, only that case is lead detective to look through the evidence. I want to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone said, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why did he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. Like my eye. I should go to the detective's ID and threaten him. I plan to take out the evidence. Why do you deny yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make myself look like the detective... If I didn't make myself look like Goodman was tearing out the evidence transfer, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera, even though all you had to do was delete it. and the detective ID card. I stole it the morning of the incident. So that was really why Goodman started filling out the item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor of the prosecutor office parking lot. Okay, that explains how it got there. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. Write that down. So, essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? The fingerprints. If Goodman hadn't left something in his locker, then if you tried to open it, you would have failed. I mean, the fingerprint activated your locker, of course. No matter how well you deny yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But you could because a rubber thumb happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. Correct. I wasn't expecting officer meetings. I knocked him out cold. You pulled a knife on Officer Meeting and tried to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room in no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that time. Officer Meeting certainly is a 1 in a million type person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to show his ID. I'll have to get a little bit more about his raise this year. What did that mean? Did that mean you want to give him a raise or down his raise? When did Edward get so much influence? Apparently he always had it. Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way. With me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. So you knocked Officer Marshall out and managed to escape. I knew which area wouldn't be caught on camera. Oh shit, wait. Okay. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't give y'all, pal. Partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone according to the plan, no footage would have been left. Okay, so you don't erase it. The camera erases it. Okay. However, you bloody your coat in your struggle with officer meetings. If somebody was in the security room when I came out, the gin would have been up. I opened my locker and stacked it in there. What was Officer Meeting doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping on the baby. So what you're saying is that on that day, there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Just a monstrous beating. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim showed on that tape to me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the author. Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the author, the evidence was already gone. So somebody opened Goodman's yachter before you. Judge, I claim that since Goodman's evidence is gone, and we don't know about the contents of the blood, that we have to continue this trial to the very end. What? Mr. Edward, where is that evidence? It is still missing, Your Honor. Your Honor, this case cannot end until the evidence is found. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. That's a good policy. I like that. Good answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID? Injuring a police officer? This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't be forgiven with just a simple cut in salary. That's the punishment I always give. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Yeah, that's it. This isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zest. Let's hear more. I can't forget the SL9 incident. You know why? Why? But the case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. So Dart was convicted for his crime. One thing I can say for sure is that he deserved his sentence. I remember the Joe Dart case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain with how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Do you know something, Edward? Why is she so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. If I have a feeling we'll wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here related in some way to that case. I better take another look at the files. Okay, so what I have to do is go to... this one. But what is it? Oh, shit! Oh, man. Okay, I hate how if I misplash, I accidentally have to do it all over again. It's just really annoying. Oh, I need to remember what button opens the court record. And that would be... W. Okay. Present is R. I need to go to that case file. And check it out. Okay. Incident number SL9. Cloned. Perpetrator, Joe Dart. Crime, serial murder. Sentence, death. Victims, Edward Jones, Edith Turby, Jeb Batt, Jason Knight, Rachel Moss, Neil Marshall. Marshall? Wait, is that your name? Wait, no, go back. Bam! Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been shipping too much package juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file right here. The name, Marshall, is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall, are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yes, I'm sure you heard the name. 2 years ago, he received the same Yowie Prosecutor Award you got. What? A prosecutor? He must have been talking about the King of Prosecutor Award. It is pretty shitty. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands. That's why he cares so much. But what's his relation to yours? He was my brother. He was investigating the murder of Damon Dant. He was investigating the murder of Damon Dant, the then Deputy Chief of Police. The group of detectives I was a part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Oh, that is horrifying. So dark. My brother fought Joe Dart and was killed. That was the first time Joe Dart left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arrested. He was arraigned and incarcerated. I don't know that word. The case was finally closed. At least according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dart. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing is for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case could have been reopened. Not satisfied with his resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meetings confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. Ha! The things that happened by chance never cease to amaze. At the exact same time as the murder in the police, at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance? No, it's gotta be more than chance. So, if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one. Which, in turn, means only one person could have committed the crime. The Chief Prosecutor Yana Shaddai. But wait! A verdict hasn't been reached. Was it reached in yesterday's trial? Which is exactly why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me they've fully got the draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved. No doubt about it. The blood! What about the blood? How do you explain the blood? Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Yana Shaddai. And the testimony of one Angel Star is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or yes. Ah! Ah! I rest my case. No. It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time. Disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt about what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera tape was really fake. But I didn't realize that I would end up proving Yana guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. Hold it! What? Emma? Your Honor, wait! Emma! The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right? I don't know what you mean. Mr. Wright, are you the village guardian? Your Honor, in a sense. Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking for is a minute of your time. Please, hear me out. Mr. Edwards, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. Okay. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out that the SL9 incident referred to the Jump Dart killings. Now that she mentions it, the names of both Shaddai Center were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall would try to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. And that only the other thing, the other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found on Detective... Wait, why wasn't that in the video? Why didn't I see it in the video? I would remember it, right? Chat. Wait, that dumb badger covering up his handprint. Wait, but if the handprint is being covered, that means that the handprint was made when it wasn't there. So, before or after this video was made, somebody with a bloody finger handprint put their hand on it while the blue... Wait, is it there? Is it? I don't see it. But then it was wiped away, wasn't it? You mean the traces of blood found on Detective W.'s yachter? But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I would be sure to find a clue. Okay, Emma, what did you find? So, I ran over there and looked at it again. Okay, and did you find something? No. What? What do you mean, no? Huh? Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Is that all? Please, don't be mad. I think the high school student. And I'm just an attorney. But, Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. Okay, hey, everybody. Are we forgetting about this pool of blood? We don't know whose blood this is. Edward, you have not solved anything if you can't tell me whose blood it is. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Yana, it's you. Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regards to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appeared the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plan, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there any problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use, but still, if you can't find something wrong with that blood mark, Your Honor will be... Please, answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If I ever needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with the handprint on Detective W.'s yachter? Could there be something I'm missing? I object! This handprint, yes, at the crime scene, clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is that you're grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell us, is there a problem with them? Yes, they say drains. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something that hasn't been drawn on there? Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of this blood mark. Let us pray that the defense simply isn't trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. With all the evidence here, there's gotta be something I can use. The question is, what item to prove something is missing from the floor plans? The videotape. And they say back left, even a blind man to hit with a butt shot. That is, so you're obviously facing the general direction. It seems Mr. Wright not sure what direction to face. It's no use. The more evidence there is, the greater the chance of me being wrong. Just calm down, Mr. Wright. Just try to remember what the evidence room was like on the day of the crime. What's bothering me about this blood mark? Please, allow me another chance, Your Honor. I'll prove it this time. Okay, so I thought it meant like what item to prove he was in there, but I guess it's this one. What about that piece of plywood? The blue barrier, mascot of the police force. Defender of proof, guardian of proof. And blame yourself, Mr. Wright. Please, using the floor plan of the crime scene, the blue barrier is not here. So what will happen when we put him in? This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well, what? Ah! That's right. So y'all in the blue badger dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint on this spot on the yachter. What? So that means, just exactly what does that mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Trace blood traces were undeniably found on that yachter. Yes, but how did they get there? Look at me, I didn't put them there. Mr. Wright, think through it scientifically. Emma, on that afternoon, Officer Meeting was the one who brought the blue badger to the evidence room, right? After she put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that yachter. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the blue badger was brought in. So that would have to be okay, so that would have to be before 4:50 p.m. Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department evidence room, blood was spilled not once but twice. But how? One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Marshall touched his hand from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is the other time. What time? Which other time? Someone bled prior to the struggle on the tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. Objection! That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security tape had been proven to be a fake. However, that did not explain the blood mark found on this yachter. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? Before the blue badger, so before 4:50. I demand you show evidence that prove when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? To summarize, the defense claims that prior to officer meetings being taught by Jake Marshall, who employed as the Detective Goodman. Give me a minute. Another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right. The blood mark on the altar proves this. Very well, then tell us. When did this first incident occur? Mr. Edwards said, proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? If the crime took place inside the evidence room, the killer would have had to enter. And in order to do so, an ID card must have been retired. An ID card? Oh, the ID card record. Officer Meeting brought the blue badger panel in the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, it would have been 4:40. Ah! Niall Edgeworth! What have you done? I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Stop the act, witness. It did not take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it. I think you murdered someone. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear from the humanal test that the blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meeting and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that is physically impossible. That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edwards entered the evidence room. Yet you look at the chart again. There's only one retard number remaining. 7. Sorry, 7. Talking about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Shouldn't there no record of his car being used beforehand? He must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went inside with 7. Mr. Edwards, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number this 7777777. That is 1 7 too many, Your Honor. How the hell do you know, Edward? Were you mentally counting every 7 he said? Unfortunately, I am unable to look into the owner of that ID card. Why? At least at present. Why? What? Explain yourself, son. The ID card number 7777777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Oh shit. The only person I know who's that high is Yana Sadai. I think. The Yana count, she is chief prosecutor, and Edward has an ID card. So I'm going to assume that every prosecutor has an ID card. And Damon Dant. If it's not Yana, it has to be Damon. Shit. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. Why? But that's ridiculous. Just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge is filed against an executive, is accepted. An official charge of murder. You're all alike, aren't ya? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor office operates. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. It's only slander if it isn't true. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question. Yes? No, not to you. To her, the defendant sitting there. Your executive. Yana. Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we'll look into her ID card number And it not 7. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I wanted to ask. Oh, I want to know one thing about that incident. The SL9 incident. It should be this, chief prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? No, don't end it on a cliffhanger. Do you need the witness to repeat his direction, chief prosecutor? I certify, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. What? Johanna! I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant! What are you saying? Alas, you were dead, chief prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say you did? Chief prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to do in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Yana, even if it involved forging evidence, what did you do? See? Like what I'm talking about. No! No! Order! 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 Yana's remarks caused such a stir that the chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. Shit! Oh my god! So much happened, guys! Okay, so... No, wait, I think I'm gonna turn this off now. Okay, everybody, I think I'm gonna end the video for now. Apparently, Yana actually did forge evidence. What did that mean? What happened in the evidence room? How did the body get from there into the parking lot? Did David Damp murder? And a bunch of other questions will be answered next time on Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright, Rise from the Ashes. Bye!